If I could call the Lauras to the stage again. Another fun part of the program, the Glen G.B. Brandt Prize for Ag Entrepreneurism was established in 2021 in honor of Glen G.B. Brandt, a legendary figure in the field of Illinois agriculture who passed away in late 2020. The Brandt Foundation partnered with the University of Illinois to provide the winner with a $10,000 prize. We are excited to welcome Chief Marketing Officer at Brandt, Carl Barnhart, to the podium.
Thank you all. Good afternoon. This is one of my favorite days of the year. I get to give out a big check. Everybody loves to give away money, right? That's one of the favorite things that I get to do. But I also get to celebrate Glen Brandt. I've been with Brandt for about 20 years now in a bunch of different capacities, but one of the great things that I got to do was to work with Glen Brandt. He was a character first and foremost, but he was a real visionary in the world of professional agriculture. He took what was a startup and turned it into a global organization where we're in 80 countries around the world, and we're helping growers of all sizes, stripes, and colors be more efficient in what they do on their operation. So when we lost Glen, we thought, well, we have to celebrate that legacy. We have to celebrate that heritage. And how can we do that? Well, Glen was first and foremost an entrepreneur. If there was no answer, he invented one. If there wasn't a product out there, he built it. If there wasn't a process, he came up with it. And so our thought was, there are so many young entrepreneurs here in the state of Illinois. If we can partner with one of the leaders, and of course that's the University of Illinois, let's celebrate those entrepreneurs. And so for 6 years now, this is our 6th year, we have celebrated entrepreneurism in the state of Illinois. We've celebrated a liquor manufacturer, a beer distiller, a popcorn manufacturer, a test plot operator. We have got the bases covered, but we didn't have anything in the dairy space until this year. Until this year, we've filled that hole. We've got remarkable young ladies who are the 2026 winners of the Glen Brandt Ag Entrepreneurism winner. The Amy and Beth Marcoot from the Marcoot Jersey Creamery, in Glenville, Illinois, are this year's winners. And I've gotten to know them over the last few hours, and remarkable folks. There's just a couple things I want to point out. As the son of a farmer, I know how important it is to maintain farmland. And on a macro level, when I was reading their application, the thing that really struck me was that when their family farm, the succession was uncertain, and they weren't on the farm, they took on the responsibility. They stepped up to run a dairy operation. When I was on the farm as a kid and we were complaining about how much work Dad was making us do, he said, no, dairy farmers, those are the ones who work hard. And he was right, and he continues to be right about this. They took on that responsibility, they transformed the organization, and it's now a 7th generation operation. But it's more than just a dairy. They transformed it into an ecotourism business. They're making, marketing, selling their own line of specialty cheeses. One of the things that I loved was this past year they created a not-for-profit called Back to the Farm to help fill the gap from the cuts in the federal food programs. When we were talking earlier, they said, well, we kind of run it like a not-for-profit in a way where we want to give back, we want to help with education, we want to create that next generation of farmers out there. They even have their own line of Wagyu beef. It just goes on and on with these two people. So Amy and Beth, congratulations for winning the GB Prize this year. Come on up here and you get the big check.
Hi there. So I'm Amy, and this is my sister Beth. We are not twins. I'm older. I'll just save you from having to say all of those things, Beth. But we are a 7th-generation dairy farm in Greenville, Illinois. So we're about 45 miles east of downtown St. Louis. And as was said earlier, we really had no intention. As a matter of fact, in high school, I remember my dad saying, "You don't want to come back to the farm." They had 4 daughters, and they just assumed we'd all would leave the farm. And my dad would say things like, "We want you to have a normal life," whatever that is. And so I'm assuming he meant don't get up at 2 a.m. to milk the cows 365 days a year. But so we both graduated from the University of Illinois and have degrees in other things. And we were working other jobs. In about 2007, my parents called to say that they were going to be selling the farm in the next 5 years. It wasn't, by the way, it wasn't like manipulation. They really were proud of us doing other things. But at that point, we started talking about what it would look like to come back to the farm. And my dad said, well, you either need to become a 1,000+ cow dairy or a larger dairy, or you need to add value to your milk. So on June 5th, 2010, we opened to the public and we started making cheeses. We quickly realized that we were still competing in the Midwest. Specifically, we were still going to compete with the commodities, which was the point of adding value to try to get away from that. So in about 2021, we launched a pet line and to diversify our channels. And actually what we sell the most of today is dog ice cream, and which I promise, we were talking about it earlier, our ancestors would probably be scratching their head, and trust me, we are too. In 2010, if you would have asked me if that's what we'd be doing, I would have said, no, we're making cheese for humans. We built a cheese cave. We're doing all these. But the biggest source of revenue for us today is our Doggos line, which is one of our brands. So innovation has been a really important part of our story. And I think I heard somebody say when they were talking about entrepreneurship earlier as just determination and not giving up and believing that there is a path forward for smaller farmers. But just like this last panel, it's also about being open and being creative and being nimble with things as well. So we are so grateful for our Illinois experience, and we are so honored and humbled to get this award today. Thank you.
All right, we always love the big check pictures. Congratulations, Amy and Beth, our 2026 Brandt Prize winner, Marcoot Jersey Creamery.
We do.
Yeah.
We do have a special treat outside for you all. Very thankful to Amy and Beth for bringing some samples of their amazing cheese here. So when you head out for the break, feel free to grab some. Also, you can buy their products locally at Common Ground and Schnucks, and you can buy the dog ice cream at Pet Supplies Plus or Petco or online. So we expect a spike in sales from today.
Yes, you'll get a spike from me, 100%. Thank you so much for all that you do for pets and humans too. All right, now, as promised from Laura, we will take a short break. Actually, it's a little bit longer of a break this time because we're going to be setting up for one of the most exciting points of the day, the Startup World Cup Regional. If you are one of the 10 companies pitching, please make your way to the front of the ballroom. Everyone else, enjoy some networking and some samples and some cheese, and please return to your seats at 2:45. We will start very promptly at 2:45. Thank you.